These are based on the 17 SDGs. We have a total of 17 SDGs, but today we're gonna be specifically looking at SDG number 13, which is climate action, the action to combat climate change. That is the world's best action to end poverty, reduce inequalities, tackle climate change. Climate change is already affecting the people. Almost 90% of greenhouse gas emissions come from 5 sectors, namely electricity, agriculture, industry, transport and building. Since we are the problems, we are ourselves the solution.
We are living in a modern age with cutting-edge technology. There are people regrowing corals in the world. They are reclaiming land in the world. I want our development partners. I am really happy that Honorable Minister and the MD are having a conversation with John Kerry, Presidential Envoy of climate change.
Since we are the solutions to the problems we created, what are we going to do to combat climate change? We need to reduce the heat and electricity consumption by 75%. For transport, the same thing applies. We need to reduce transport emission by 75% to limit or minimize the global temperature. For agriculture, the need to increase food production ends up giving up more emissions. If we eat less meat and reduce food waste, this may help. For industries such as mining, steel and cement are responsible for the 1/5 of total emissions. So how can we contribute to climate action? Climate action needs collective responsibility by all countries. The inputs of our action must be aimed at reaching the SDG 13 targets. Some of those targets are to strengthen resilience and adaptive capacity to climate-related hazards and natural disasters in all countries, to integrate climate change measures into national policies, strategies and planning, to improve education, awareness raising and human. Together collectively as global partners, we can combat climate change and make this world a better place.
Thank you, Minister.
Minister Murray says logging is one of the factors that contribute immensely, causing the sea levels to rise. That is the current matter in parts of Bougainville following a visit to the region.
Punai and Tinputs and going down south to Buin, a lot of the landmass has been washed away by the actions of sea waves.
According to the recent visit, Regional MP Jamalili Jr. says 300 meters of land in Bougainville has been washed away in the last 45 years. Jamalili Jr. says Bougainville has refugees of climate change as a result of industrial activities by the developed nations. This has caused many problems, including food security and displacement.
And I sit here, not only representing my people as the first climate change refugees, but I also sit here as a victim. I am a victim of what is happening in the world, what the big industrials are doing to this Mother Earth. I am a victim. You've clearly seen on the example that Minister had shown earlier on where he went to on the shorelines of Bougainville, where I come from. It is my village, it is my dwelling, it is where I plant my plantation. I have lost 300 meters of that. My whole life's gone. I am a displaced citizen of this global village.
If waves continue washing away shorelines in parts of Bougainville, it may cause the government to resettle people as land becomes limited. Chamalili called on the government to address this with the support of US government to prevent displacement and resettlement of its people.
We are living in a modern age with cutting-edge technology. There are people regrowing corals in the world. They are reclaiming land in the world. I want our development partners. I am really happy that Honorable Minister and the MD are having a conversation with John Kerry, Presidential Envoy of climate change for the United States. Please, with your cutting-edge technology, rebuild our atolls, reclaim our islands. You can do that. I do not need my people to be resettled.
Oro Governor Gary Juffa, who has been vocal against illegal logging in the country, says logging cartels in the country have compromised and manipulated government departments like Environment and Conservation, Land, Mining, Agriculture and Forestry for the benefit of a few. He said those activities contribute to climate change.
These departments were created to protect the interests of Papua New Guinea, not to protect the interests of those who come here driven by greed and that have been destroying our environment to our detriment, to a point where now we see what is happening, not just in Papua New Guinea, but around the world.
Mr. Juffa says those who participate in this industry must be brought to the discussion table to discuss the future of the country because their selfish and greedy agendas has threatened the future of PNG in many ways, including climate change. He says they need to be responsible for their actions.
We cannot allow this particular group of people to continue to do this in our country. We're an independent country. We did not gain independence only to be recolonized by selfish cartels with their own greedy agenda. And this is why I am demanding that this government must bring them to the discussion table. Shape up or ship out. This must be the message. Our very future depends on it. We have a responsibility not just to Papua New Guinea, but the entire world.
Alexius Sengi, National MTV News.